righty. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Got Next podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Baldwin, with my co-host, Donovan Moore.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
It's week 5, so you already know we got to cover the week 5 action. We got Ben and Bones Nate Ash back on the podcast. B, tell them how you feeling, man.
Absolutely, man. It's excited for another week. We're in the second quarter of the season now. We're entering the second quarter of the season, so it's been a fun first quarter. Be happy to talk about what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. And B, while you're at it, you can go ahead and just give us our updated standings.
Yeah, so as far as the updated standings go, I forgot to update you guys last week on week 3, so here we go. Week 3, Bennett and myself, I was 8-8. Dono was 8-8 as well, and Mitch was the winner of week 3, being a 9-7. Then week 4, I was 11-5. Dono was 12-4, and Mitch was also 11-5, which brings the total season standings. Dono leads at the record of 38-26, and I follow at 37-27. And then Mitch is just right behind at 36-28. So we're all pretty even with the picks so far. Any man's game going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, B, for the update. But without further ado, we got a lot of action to get this week. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And without further ado, let's get into the intro.
You ready, Playboy?
Yo, turn it up, Sly. I can't hear nothing.
Alrighty, the first matchup we have this week, starting on a Thursday night, we have the Colts and the Broncos facing off. You can go ahead and start us off, B.
Colts and the Broncos. This is a tough game to pick. Both teams have been sort of inconsistent, but the Colts have been even more inconsistent. The game is at Denver, and I like Russell Wilson more than I like Matt Ryan. The Broncos are the home team, like I said, so I'm going to go with the Broncos here.
I feel like this is going to be kind of a tough game for Denver. They've been struggling offensively, and then to lose Javonte Williams for the season, I feel like that's a big loss for them. And the Colts have been kind of one of those wild card teams this year, so I'm actually going to take the Colts on the road in this one.
I don't hate that pick, Dono, especially with how inconsistent the Broncos have been. And you already talked about the loss of Javonte Williams. Ultimately, I am still going to rock with the Broncos. I like their team overall, but, the Colts did the Chiefs not that long ago, so wouldn't be shocked to see them beat the Broncos, but ultimately I will rock with the Broncos. Next up, we have the Giants versus the Packers. I don't think this one's going to take too long. Let's go ahead and around the table.
Another game in London, but I'm going with the Packers.
Yeah, Packers.
And Packers. All right, cool. On to the next one, fellas. We got the Steelers and the Bills. B, this is your team. You can go ahead and go first, man.
I really got mad at you, Mitch, when you picked the Jets last week to beat the Steelers, but turns out you were right, and I don't see how you can go from losing to the Jets from beating the Bills, so we'll make this quick. I got the Bills.
Yeah, I got Buffalo.
Yeah, I too have Buffalo. All right, guys, let's try and be different. We got the Lions and the Patriots. You can go ahead, B.
I really like how the Lions' offense is playing. However, their defense has shown to be a liability. They lost 48-45 to the Seahawks. And if you look at the overall stats, the Lions actually have the number 1 offense in the NFL in yards, but their record doesn't speak for that. It's 1-3. And unfortunately for them, I think the losing continues because I feel like if you go up against Belichick and you have this bad of a defense, he's going to expose you. And the game, like I said, is in Foxborough. And they took the Packers to the bitter end last week with a third-string quarterback. Something Braley, I forget his first name, but they win the overtime. And I don't know what their quarterback situation is for next week, but I think they're going to beat the Lions. Call me crazy, but I think they will.
Yeah, one thing about the Patriots, I don't think we'll ever see them get blown out as long as Belichick is the coach. And they're at home this week, so I agree with you. I'm taking the Patriots.
Going with the Lions here, fellas. Is DeAndre Swift playing? Does anybody know?
I don't know, but their running back played super well last week, so I think they have a good line.
Amon-Ra should be back at least. Amon-Ra.
Okay, if they have DeAndre Swift or Amon-Ra, you can put me down for the Lions. If they don't have either, I'm going with the Patriots. But I just also want to put out there, I said earlier in the season, right before I think any game started, that Jared Goff is solid and that I liked him and that he's not horrible. And he's honestly proven that so far. He's had some pretty tough weeks, but he's also had some pretty good weeks as well. So, I mean, he's just overall a solid quarterback, and I think he is maybe a little bit above average. Next up, We got the Chargers and the Browns. Who you got, B?
This is a really tough game because both these teams seem like they go back and forth every week. Games in Cleveland, but I'm going to go with the Chargers. I just feel like Browns are a little more untrustworthy due to their situation at QB. And Justin Herbert's really an MVP candidate, like everyone said he was going into the year. They got to win a game like this. So I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers as well. Even though they're losing a lot of players due to injury, I feel like Keenan Allen should be back this week. And with the way that the Chargers offense kind of gotten back into a good rhythm last week against Houston, I feel like they're going to keep things on track against Cleveland. So I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I'm going to pick the Chargers as well. It's kind of hard to pick here, but ultimately I'm going to go with the better quarterback. Obviously, I'm taking Justin Herbert over Jacoby Brissett any day. So, yep, I'm going to rock with the Chargers. Next up, we have the Texans and the Jaguars. Jaguars looked absolutely horrible last week. Are you picking them this week, B?
I really want to find a win for the Texans, and I think this is a good opportunity for them to win. You know what? I'm going to go with the Texans. I think they're going to get their first win of the season this year. It's a savage pick, but because the Jaguars are obviously a vastly improved team, and Trevor Lawrence is looking like he could potentially be the best QB in the AFC South by the end of the year. But I don't know if the Jaguars are consistent enough yet, and the Texans got to beat somebody. So I think this is a good divisional opponent opportunity for them to win. So I'll go with the Texans.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars in this one. They had a bad game last week, a lot of turnovers, even though they started out up 14-0 on the Eagles. So I feel like they're going to refocus here. Maybe they were just riding high after that upset went over the Chargers. I think James Robinson has a big game and the Jaguars win.
Being the best team in the AFC South is like being the tallest midget. It doesn't really matter. Other teams kind of suck. So I am going to ultimately go with the Jaguars here. I do like Trevor Lawrence, and James Robinson up until last week actually showed a lot. He actually improved a lot, and I think he surprised a lot of people this season. So I'm gonna rock with the Jaguars. The Texans may not get a win this year. We got the Falcons, the Bucks. I mean, obviously, nobody picking the Falcons here.
No, nobody's picking the Falcons here.
Yeah, I got the Bucks.
All right, that's just moving on to the next one. Everybody know I got the Bucks. I'm gonna just say it officially, but got the Dolphins and the Jets. I think again this is actually no, because Tua Tagovailoa out. So anybody picking the Jets here?
I got the Dolphins actually.
I got the Dolphins too. I actually like how Teddy Bridgewater is getting Tyreek Hill the ball. I've been fantasy and he's still dominated. So I think Teddy Bridgewater might not be a huge fall off from Tua. He's got a lot of starting experience, more than Zach Wilson. So go with the Dolphins.
Donna, what'd you say earlier?
No, I was just saying Teddy Bridgewater is definitely a serviceable backup. He'll fill in very, very nicely. I got the Dolphins too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still going to rock with the Dolphins here. I do like what the Jets have put together this season, showing a little bit of competence, actually. Kind of shocking. Next, we have the Bears and the Vikings. Who's picking the Bears here?
I mean, there's always that chance that Kirk Cousins chokes, but they just look like their offense is too lethal to lose to a team like the Bears, who haven't really found themselves yet. They look like they got a solid defense, but today's league, you got to score points, and they just haven't proven to do that. So go with the Vikings.
Same thing, yeah, same thing here. I got the Vikings. It's Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock. He's pretty good at that time slot, so I got the Vikings.
That's hilarious. I'm rocking with the Vikings, but I just want to point out I never picked the Vikings because of Kirk Cousins. I picked them because of Dalvin Cook, Alexander Mattison, and Justin Jefferson, and sometimes Adam Thielen. So next up, we have the Titans and the Commanders. D, this is your team. Donald, how you feeling about this one?
This is kind of a pivotal point in the season for the team. Like I said last week, that was almost a must-win against Dallas, and they obviously did not win. So, I mean, this is kind of at that breaking point in the season. It's Ron Rivera's third year. I think each year we've started at least like 2-5 or 2-6 to start the season out. And honestly, that's just terrible. He said it's supposed to be a year they're supposed to step up, get things on the right track. I really don't have much faith, so I'm gonna take the Titans in this one. The Commanders have shown me nothing to prove why I should pick them, so I'm gonna go with the Titans in this one. I think Ryan Tannehill will probably have a decent game.
And before you said that, I was like just about to pick the Commanders because I'm like, this is a good opportunity for them to silence some doubters. Tennessee could probably play a bad game because they just won 2 in a row. I'm not sure what they expect from them in Week 5. AFC South versus NFC East. I feel like when these divisions play each other, any team can win most of the time. Because that's just historically, these are number 4 seed divisions. But NFC East looking pretty good this year. Not the Commanders, but this is really tough. I'm still thinking of who I'm going to pick right now. I'm going to go with the Commanders. Actually, will make things interesting. I think they can get the upset here.
Oh wow. To be honest, B, I don't hate that pick. I am also still deciding as I speak, so I'm just gonna try and talk myself into one. So one side we have Derrick Henry. Sometimes the beast hasn't really been super consistent this year, but he's always, capable of going off for 100+ yards, of course, a couple touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill, trash. The Commanders, while Carson Wentz has not been great these last couple weeks, they do still have a lot of weapons. Like Antonio Gibson is solid. J.D. McKissick has actually been getting a lot more snaps than I thought he was going to. Still got Terry McLaurin, who hasn't really, been the best version of himself this year. But again, you guys just have so many weapons. Who's the other guy? Jahan Dotson as well.
He's
So
hurt.
you guys have. Oh, he said he's hurt.
Yeah, he hurt his hamstring.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that. Okay. I'm rocking with the Titans after all of that. I'm rocking with the Titans. I like Derrick Henry over everybody I just named, but I would not be shocked if the Commanders won the game.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Seahawks and the Saints. The Saints have been underwhelming, to say the least. Who's picking the Seahawks in this one?
I got the Saints.
I got the Saints.
Lost 2. What they lost 3 straight since winning their season?
Yeah, I don't think they lose 4 straight.
Yeah, nah, I got Saints.
Yeah, I got Saints too. Hard to say. Don't really have a lot of confidence in that team right now, but I'm rocking with the Saints. If they lose, this might be my last week picking them. Next, we have the 49ers and the Panthers. I saw the Panthers in person this past week. Baker Mayfield is even worse in person than he is on TV. It's insane. I didn't know it was possible. Who's picking the Panthers here?
And he's actually worse than Jimmy Garoppolo too. So
Yes.
So I think we all got the Niners on this one. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's right, man. And living here in North Carolina, and especially working in a news station, a sports news station of all places, it's crazy the stuff that's being talked about with Baker Mayfield right now. People just in dismay. They can't believe how bad he is. And I tried to tell them before the season started, but people don't want to listen. Next up, you said what, B?
I said bringing Sam Darnold.
Yeah, whenever he comes off of IR, of course.
Yeah.
Do you think that when he comes back from IR that there will actually be like a QB controversy here?
If they keep losing, they'll probably put in Darnold just to see if it will change things up.
I mean, I don't see how they don't keep losing. I mean, they played the 49ers this week. I can't remember who they played next week, but then they played the Bucs the week after. So that's 2 losses right there.
It won't be like a Kenny Pickett thing where they think he's actually going to be the future, but they're going to obviously draft the quarterback next year, in my opinion.
Right, yeah, I agree. So next up, we got the Eagles and the Cardinals. My bad, went a little bit ahead of myself there. Go ahead, B. How you feeling about this game?
This is call me crazy, but I'm actually going to pick the Cardinals to give the Eagles their first loss. I think them going from the East Coast to the West Coast, I think they'll meet their match in Kyler Murray in terms of how he plays. I know Kyler's kind of inconsistent, but boy, when that guy is on his game, he can make plays. The way he kind of reverses field in the backfield and then ends up throwing the ball still. You don't know what he's going to do. He's hard to get down, and he's really a good match for Jalen Hurts. So I think the Eagles are going to get a little of their own here, and I think them making the trip across the country. I think the Cardinals step up and get the big dub, the big upset here.
I'm actually going to take the Cardinals as well. The Eagles are a very, very good team. They're a very good team, but I feel like they're starting to get a little lackadaisical. You could tell from the start they had against the Jaguars last week. They were just a better team, so they were able to will their way back. But I feel like Arizona at home, they're slowly starting to get things back together. I think they've had 2 straight wins. Is it now?
It's been loss, win, which is another reason why I think it's not going to keep going in the same order. I think they go on a streak eventually.
Yeah, I think they might get a little streak going here. I think they'll beat the Eagles. It'll be a very close game, but I got the Cardinals.
Again, I saw the Cardinals in person last week, and I'm going to tell you right now, they did not look good. The Panthers just happened to look worse. So I'm going to rock with the Eagles, actually. I do like what the Eagles still have on paper, offensively, and I don't think the Cardinals are really going to be able to get it going until they officially have D-Hop back and they have, their full team back. So I'm rocking with the Eagles. I have no reason to pick against them. They've given me every reason to have confidence in them going into this week. So rocking with the Eagles. Next up, Speaking of confidence in teams, man, the Rams really gave one away. Was that last night, man? It was
Yeah.
not good. So yeah, how you guys feel about the Rams this week?
Ooh, do you not want to make your pick first since it's your team?
You're right. CD Lamb. That's all I got to say. ABCD Lamb. That man is nice. All right. Cooper Rush has been very nice. Okay. Cooper Rush has been the highlight of my season so far. Dak Prescott not being out there it's a wonderful sight to see, and I love to see wins when he's not out there. Dak Prescott is trash. I don't like him anymore. I am rocking with the Cowboys. It's a hard pick, I'm not going to lie, because, Stafford and them, I'm sure they're going to be looking to avenge that loss that they just took. Ridiculous L that they just took on primetime television on a Monday night. It's crazy. I'm rocking with the Cowboys, though, ultimately. How do you guys feel?
I was so close to picking the Cowboys, but if you actually look at the Rams' history against the Niners, they seem to always get blown out by the Niners on the road every year, and they look their worst against the Niners. I still can't believe they beat them in the NFC Championship last year after taking 2 L's from them in the regular season. They're on a 7-game regular season losing streak to them. However, the only reason I'm picking the Rams is I feel like Cooper Rush has to lose eventually. I know he's doing a good job, and obviously CeeDee Lamb is the Cowboys' beast on offense. Micah Parsons might be Defensive Player of the Year so far. He's having an absolutely great season. And against a team like the Rams that doesn't have a good O-line, I could see why a lot of people would pick the Cowboys. Just think the Rams at home are going to make a couple more plays. I'm sure there'll be more Cowboys fans at the game, so I'm sure it's going to be a close game. But I think the Rams don't. I think McVay's record after a loss is like really good. I don't think he loses back-to-back games very often. So that's why another reason I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams as well. Cooper Rush has been very impressive filling in for Dak Prescott, going a 3-game winning streak after going down like that. But like you said, the Rams, they kind of got embarrassed last night versus the 49ers. So I think they'll bounce back. It's tough to see Sean McVay losing 2 games in a row with that championship team they have there. So I got the Rams.
Fellas, I hate to do this, hate to ruin the integrity of the show. I am going to rock with the Rams, actually. I'm going to change my pick. B, actually, it was something you said that they do actually tend to struggle against the 49ers, which is facts. Mm-hmm. That's probably why they look so bad. There's definitely a lot of history between those two teams, and the 49ers usually just get the best of them. But, yeah, I do think Cooper Rush eventually does have to lose, and I don't think that there's anybody on the field that can guard Cooper Kupp. And the fact that Matthew Stafford goes to him so much, and that I don't really have any we don't have any corners or anything like that I think can really stop Cooper Rush or anything. I mean Cooper Kupp, excuse me. So I'm gonna rock with the Rams. Actually, I'm glad that you said that, B, because that was probably gonna be definitely gonna sway the standings at the end of the week. So glad I changed my pick. Rocking with the next one, we got the Bengals and the Ravens. We got Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson, who's kind of cooling off a little bit. B, how do you feel about this game?
Great primetime Sunday night football matchup. AFC North has been looking like a really mid/sub-mid division so far. The Bengals and Ravens are tied up top and the Browns. All 3 of them are 2-2. Unfortunately, Steelers in the cellar right now, and no reason to think it's going to change. But a lot of people think one of these 2 teams, Bengals Ravens, is going to end up winning the division. And the Ravens are 0-2 at home this year, and they blew a big lead in both games. I think it's hard to believe that they're going to go to 0-3 at home. I know the Bengals had their number last year, and Joe Burrow carved their defense like a Thanksgiving turkey twice last year. But and the Ravens defense isn't that good also, so he could very well do it again. But they were a very injured football team last year, and they're a less injured football team this year. And I feel like, the Ravens got to get a home win eventually, so I'm going to give them the slight edge in this one. And they're kind of like one of those teams that hasn't had bad back-to-back performances thus far. So I'm going to think that they're going to continue their streak of win-loss, win-loss, win.
I got the Ravens in this one as well. They're giving up 2 big leads at home. It could be a different story right now. We can be coming to this game with the Ravens being 4-0, just as easy as them being 2-2 right now. Lamar's probably upset at himself throwing that late game interception last week for Buffalo before they went on that game-winning drive. So I like the Ravens to bounce back this week at home. It'll be a very good game, and I think they still got last year of Cincinnati whipping them in their minds. So I got the Ravens.
As much as I love Lamar Jackson, I do not think that he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So But I do like them a little bit better than the Bengals, especially the Bengals I've seen so far through the year. But at the same time, I think Jamar Chase hasn't really had quite the year that we thought that he was going to have. And the Ravens secondary is definitely susceptible to and give up some look to some wide receivers. So I'm actually going to rock with the Bengals this week. It's definitely a hard pick, but Lamar Jackson, not even just the interception at the end, his entire second half was absolutely trash in that game. I think he accumulated maybe 38 yards in the second half, which was pretty trash as well. So yeah, I can't rock with the Ravens after what I saw from them last week. They've blown some big leads where they look amazing. They look unstoppable in the first half, and they come out in the second half flat, and then the other team takes advantage. So I'm rocking with the Bengals, and the Bengals are looking to prove some things after losing some games that they should have won early in the season. So I think they're going to be motivated to win this one. I'm rocking with the Bengals. Next, last but not least, we have the Raiders versus the Chiefs. This is Derek Carr versus Patrick Mahomes, who's coming off of an amazing performance this last week. So who you rocking with, D?
I think this game, Monday Night Football game, has the potential to get very ugly. Raiders obviously are not the team that they pursued or that they want to be based on their acquisitions. You thought they'd be a more competitive team, but I saw what the Chiefs did to the Bucs last week on Sunday Night Football, and I don't know how you go from doing that to losing to the Raiders at home, especially when their coach is Josh McDaniels and then the Chiefs coach is Andy Reid. I just feel like this is, and you look at the quarterbacks. I've always said when the quarterback and coaches are both mismatches like that, I think the writing's pretty much on the wall. Yeah, give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs as well. The Raiders, I'm not really sure what's going on with them. Obviously, Josh McDaniels is not looking like the right hire at this moment in time, but Kansas City at home is a problem, and Patrick Mahomes is a problem in itself. So I got the Chiefs, and I agree with you, B. It might not be too pretty for Vegas this week.
Kansas City at home, in London, in the club, anywhere. The Chiefs are dangerous. It doesn't matter where they are, where their location. That doesn't mean anything for me. I'm rocking with the Chiefs. The Raiders have looked another very underwhelming team so far. I'm sure Devontae Adams is sick that he left. I know he likes that money and all that, man. But as far as the winning, it's not there. So I'm rocking with the Chiefs this week. The Raiders have showed me no reason to have any faith in them. So we'll not be rocking with the Raiders. It's kind of shocking how bad they've been this year, honestly. Some people have them going to the Super Bowl, but that will not be happening. So that is everything for this week. Is there anything anybody wants to say before we wrap it up? Pause.
Can I just also add on to that saying Darren Waller's been a total disappointment. He's on my fantasy team, and he is on about every game this year. And I'm pretty sure him going against the Chiefs this week, I'm pretty sure Travis Kelce's going to outscore him in one quarter. I'm going to make a bold prediction right there. Let's see if I'm right. But, I mean, that might not be a really ballsy prediction, to be honest with you, based on how things have been going. But that's another reason I just think this game will be flat out ugly. I feel like there's a mismatch in almost every position in favor of the Chiefs. Maybe not defense, but the Raiders' defense obviously hasn't panned out how we thought it was going to be. That Chandler Jones acquisition looks like he's kind of past his prime a little bit, not getting much done. So poor Raiders, man. Poor Raiders.
Gotcha. And then since we're bringing up fantasy disappointments and stuff, Josh Jacobs had probably his best week so far.
Yes.
He decided to go for like 30 after he hadn't had over like 15. I lose because I'm sick of this, man. I'm sick of fantasy. I'm 1-3. As you can see, I'm very upset. If I lose this week, I'm giving it up. But hope you guys like the episode, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow us on the socials, man. Hit the bell for the notifications. Make sure you know every time that we upload, every time we go live, etc. So hope you guys like the episode. We'll catch y'all next week.
Yes, sir.